Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, I do a show called Jeezy Truth News, and we talk about pretty much everything, and just talk about truth. The reason why I started the show a long time ago was because they were banning everybody left and right. I had to. We were taught everybody's trying to connect, talk, whatever, and you'd be banned on YouTube, banned on Twitter, banned this, banned that, and it's just you can't get a hold of anybody around.
Absolutely.
So
So, are you a 9/11 truther? Do you believe that like the U.S. government did 9/11?
absolutely. I mean, I don't, there's a lot of the thing is that there's a lot of weird things to it. I'm a 9/11. I'm all about the truth. So whatever the truth is, that's what I'm about. So it wasn't just America that did it. It's, who knows what, there's just way too many plot holes, way too many things. I have a great guy who, have you ever heard of Dr. Jim Fetzer?
No, I've never heard of them.
Well, if you're into 9/11 truth movement, let me tell you, this guy named Dr. Jim Fetzer, I'll link you everything afterwards. I mean, this guy has written multiple books on many things, including 9/11, on top of JFK, on top of Sandy Hook, on top of everything. So, is it being recorded right now?
Yeah, yeah, we're live.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Then you can send me the link afterwards. And so the thing is, yeah, man, I don't know where to begin, where to end. It's a lot of crazy stuff.
So, tell me a bit about
So,
your show, Jeezy Truth News. Is that like a YouTube channel, or are you on Spotify, or?
well, it's mostly on alternative websites like BitChute and Cloud Hub and Truth Social and all kinds of because I started on YouTube. We created the show Jeezy Truth News, made it on YouTube and Twitter, like the main ones. And it was banned. It got banned on YouTube, got banned on Twitter, got banned, all these places, Facebook, whatever. And so, it's been going on. The show, we've been doing it for more than 5 years now. And it's just crazy to think that they can do whatever they want. They get the corporations, they could just ban you, they could get rid of things, they could do it's their domain, which is it is what it is. But the fact of the matter is that the truth needs to be you can't close the truth. You can't bother. It's like eventually it's going to come out somewhere. So and the thing is that when they ban it, it just opens up more doors. So you ban it on YouTube. Well, guess what? There's 200 other alternative sites where you put on all the information. There's many people, many truthers, many people just trying to express their views. What's going on? Something smells fishy. It doesn't make any sense. So that's what it is. And so
Yeah,
I
what
I've
are your thoughts on the COVID-19 pandemic and the government response with regards to lockdowns and quarantines?
well, it's all hilarious. I mean, it's completely it's unconstitutional. First of all, it's all completely illegal. You can't. They've been making people do all kinds of stuff, and it's totally not right. It's not. I mean, listen, the people, the Boston Tea Party back in the 1800s. It was like what? When was the Boston Tea Party? They threw. It was like a 1% increase of taxes, and they threw the tea in the water over less than a 1% increase of the thing. And that what happened then. And now they're trying to do all this stuff, force vax, force mask, force this, force that. All of it is completely unconstitutional. All of it is completely incorrect. So to answer your question, I'm definitely opposed of all of that. It's all authoritarian. It's all George Orwellian. It's all the same stuff that a lot of people practice and preach. It's not right. It's unconstitutional. It's all terrible.
Are you familiar with the Great Reset?
A little bit, yeah. It's part of the whole. It's part of the whole cabal. The you want to call them. It's like the Illuminati, whatever this is, the Klaus Schwab, the I forgot what his organization is called,
The
but
World
it's all
Economic
part of
Forum.
World Economic Forum. That's right. Yeah, the WEF and all these things, and it's ridiculous. So they say part of his spiel says you will eat the bugs. You're not you'll own nothing and be happy, and just all of it is just disgusting, unconstitutional. Just it's not good. It's not good, and the people are out and about, and like it's crazy to me. It doesn't make any sense. These people should be jailed for even talking about stuff like that. It's like who are you to say you're gonna who are you to say that you're gonna force people to do anything? That's not how it works.
Now, you're American, yes?
Yes,
Are you a member of the Libertarian Party of the USA? Do you belong to that organization, or have you ever like been involved with the Libertarian Party?
I might be affiliated with it, but I'm not really. I mean, the thing is that all these guys are compromised. All of this stuff, in my eyes, in my opinion, all of this stuff is just terrible. It's like, you know, it's not good. I don't know the Libertarian Party. I understand like the whole. Last time I heard about the Libertarian Party was the Gary Johnson
Right,
thing in
right. The
2016.
presidential campaign.
Yeah, and after that, it's yeah, you hear about the Greenpeace, you hear about, but none of it matters because when is the last time Libertarian Party won? It doesn't matter. It's Democrat versus Republican. We have two parties here. Yeah, we have Greenpeace, Libertarian, maybe this and that, but none of that matters. And at the end of the day, I'm not exactly sure if that's the right direction, but I mean, I'm sure it's the better direction. But all of this needs to be fixed from the bottom up, obviously, and it's all these guys are compromised. It's like Coca-Cola versus Pepsi, and it's all just illusion of choice. And the Libertarian Party, I can't say I know too much about them, but obviously it doesn't sound like there's much going on. Otherwise, you'd be hearing about them. The last time I heard about the Libertarian Party was 2016.
So you think change needs to come from the grassroots, from individual action?
Well, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's how this country was founded on. That's people need to realize that it's all just corporations and corporatocracy, and it's an oligarchy. It's all these, what's going on right now in the country. You look around, it's the inflation and the corruption. It's been going on for years, but now it's finally getting. It's crazy to me that there's no gas riots, that there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on, right? It's like, I mean, I'm not hearing about it, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and nobody's saying much. It's like, oh, this is all very disappointing, this and that. Yeah, well, you know what? When things get bad, I mean, someone's gonna have to do something about it. I guess it's not that bad yet. Otherwise, you'll see people on the streets. But right now, I would say that it's pretty bad because the inflation is everything is soaring through the roof, and
And
then everything
inflation's
that's
at
been
like 10%, I think is and that's the government's numbers, which are always,
yes,
they're always trying to pretend like the inflation is lower because they rearrange the basket of goods. They're not counting gasoline or housing, things that are going up in price at a high level. They're not counting as part of the metric. What do you think
that's
about Joe
exactly.
Biden?
What do I think about Joe Biden? I mean, who would even think? Why would anybody even think about this guy? I mean, I'll read a post that I read, and I think it really just hit the nail on the head. My opinion on Joe Biden is he's a nobody. He's a 50-year plus politician. He's been, what's there to talk about? What's there to talk about? It's all an embarrassment to the country. It's all ludicrous. It's all ridiculous. I mean, this is a joke.
And if you
Let
look
me
at
read
his
an
record
excerpt that
as
I
a
read.
politician, the Biden crime bill that started throwing so many people in jail, you look at the incarceration rates in the United States, extremely high. Sure, some of those people probably did commit serious crimes and belong in jail. A lot of them are drug offenders who maybe don't necessarily deserve to be behind bars.
Listen, it's all of this is corrupt. We need to have a truth and reconciliation program, or we need to have Nuremberg trials, uh, 2.0, whatever needs to be done. Something needs to be done. We know that all of this is fake. It doesn't matter. Joe Biden, Schmo Biden, whoever these people are, it's all corrupt and how can you get this 80-year-old guy? It's all just, it's a mute point. I mean, these people are leaving $80 billion in Afghanistan. These people are taking our money. They're taking it's like, what is going on? The taxes without representation, all of it. I mean, it's all just, we could just go on forever. It's a disaster. I mean, it's been a disaster for a long time.
I know
And
lately
now it's
there's a
just
push towards gun confiscation, higher levels of gun control, even though if you look at like a country like Mexico, they've got extremely strict gun control and gun violence is rampant there. So does it really work, or are you just taking guns away from law-abiding citizens?
Yeah, all of that is very true, and what can I tell you? It's all it's all corruption. It is, in my opinion, I don't think the gun confiscation will ever happen because it's too much to ask for. It's like, how are you going to go and grab all those guns? A lot of people say, ban guns and fear porn, blah blah blah. I don't buy it. I don't think gun confiscation is gonna happen uh, because it just. I mean, think about it. What do you think is going? The second they try to do that, it'd be an instant civil war. So it'd be, they're not that stupid, and I mean, they're pretty clever sometimes. So whoever they are, whoever the people, I mean, there's way too many things going on that you and I, maybe I don't. There's a lot of weird things going on that we don't know, that we're not in the clear of. And it's just really weird why nobody does anything about it. Why, it's going to have to take food for being out of the grocery stores. That's what I say to people. It's like, for now, I could go walk down the street, get myself a cheeseburger, and, it is what it is, even with 20% inflation. Like a burger used to cost $10, now it's going to be 15, $20. Hey, at least you got your burger. It's a terrible viewpoint, but my point being is you go to the grocery store and the uh, shelves are still stocked. And so that's what it comes down to. When the food runs out, that's when people will start bitching. But for now, poor people, if they can't afford the food, they'll go and steal it. Rich people, they don't have to worry. They just, but it doesn't matter whether it's 15, 20, it could be $200 a hamburger. And I know, and that's another thing. I read that 75% of Americans have less than $500 in their pocket, in their bank account. So what does that tell you? So it's getting close to there. And I'm not sure. I mean, how can you tell about any of this stuff? But you
No,
can
you're right.
tell
A
that
lot of
people are having.
Americans, a lot of people in general are living paycheck to paycheck. There's consumer debt is the whole economy is based on debt. Everybody's borrowing money from who? From China, from where are they borrowing the money from? And are these levels of debt sustainable? You look at the government's got $30 trillion in debt.
Definitely. Well, and then thank you for saying that, because the thing is that if you don't know where the debt comes from, the debt comes from the Federal Reserve. That's the number one thing. It's the Federal Reserve that printing all the money, and that's where it comes from. So they're printing all the money and then saying, "Oh, look at this inflation! Look at this inflation!" It's all a joke. It's like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's so ridiculous. It's like, they're drawing you a cartoon and telling you what you want to see, what you want to hear. It seems all programmed, it's all very ridiculous. It's like they're making up the rules, they're doing whatever they want, whoever's doing what. But at the end of the day, we just know the face reality, which is the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell, I believe, is still the head chairman, and he is that's what they do. They printed money. It's ridiculous. If you see the graph, It's been going. I mean, first of all, you see the graph. The graph is like this. You can pull up any graph and look up the inflation, and the inflation and the poverty rate is the same way. It's the same line. It goes the parallel going skyrocketing up. And then when you see the money supply, the M1, M2, whatever they call it these days, you look at the money supply, and they're printed. They just keep printing all the money. And then within the last year or two, they printed half the money within the last couple of years. So you have to understand what's going on. They're printing money. You have to understand. The same stuff that you're spending money on, they're printing money. Each dollar that they create, every dollar is debt because it's just paper, fiat, and Federal Reserve, the fractional reserve lending system. So that's what it is. The more they print, the more expensive things are. It's the same classic example, the $1 trillion Zimbabwean note. Pretty soon we're going to be the same thing.
And it's ironic because the Federal Reserve officials, central banking officials all over the world, they say, we're committed to fighting inflation. Well, if you wanted to fight inflation, you would just stop creating new money, right? But as you said, they create money out of thin air and then they lend it to the government, for interest, right? So that the government's paying the Federal Reserve for this money they created out of thin air. It didn't, they didn't do anything to justify making it. And then and what people don't realize is that inflation is a tax. That's your money. When they create new money and spend it, that's coming out of your pocket, just as if they put a tax on you, but you don't notice it because it's sort of an invisible tax. But it devalues your savings. It transfers wealth, to the government, to the people who get this new money first, and there's serious consequences to the economy because of all this inflation.
Definitely, and it's very sad. And again, like I said, the poverty line and the inflation line and the crime rates, they're all in parallel with each other, and it's all increasing up. And so that's what, and the homelessness and everything you see, and like we just said, according to whatever statistic, it says 75% of Americans have less than 500 bucks in their bank account, and that's just saying that. Meanwhile, we've been hearing about paycheck to paycheck for years now. So, it's all very sad, and we're all beating a dead horse here. But it's amazing that people don't get it, and I'm not really sure what's going on. I don't know whether people are just playing the waiting game. I think that's what it is. People are just playing the waiting game, or until it gets to such a point that the food is not in the grocery store, and that's when shit will hit the fan. So far, things are getting pretty hectic now. It's getting like maybe I would guess at the 80-85%. We're almost there. Then once they run out of the food out of the shelves, or that's when people are just gonna start freaking out, and the riots, the gas riots, the food riots, whatever. That's what's gonna happen because I mean, it's all very entertaining at the same time. It's all, if it wasn't so evil and disgusting, it would be all very hilarious. But it's just how does anybody even take this seriously?
Well,
How is
look
this
at
even real?
the price of gas, right? The price of gas is going up very quickly, and the thing is, gasoline sort of equals food because that's what farmers use in their when they're plowing their fields, right? They require a lot of gasoline for their tractors. So as the cost of gasoline keeps increasing, so is the price of food. There's going to be, I think you're right that it is going to eventually cause a crisis scenario. I think the problem is it's sort of the frog in the pot of water theory where if you throw a frog in a pot of boiling water, he's going to jump out. But if you're just slowly uh, increasing the heat, then it's taken as normal, and that's what's been happening over the last 200 years. They up taxes a little bit, and then there's new regulations, and but it's all a very slow and gradual process, and the cumulative results are astounding. You know, the difference between 200 years ago when there was virtually no taxes, and now you gotta, there's you're paying half your income when you factor all the different taxes: income tax, sales tax, sin taxes, property tax. There's tax on your car, luxury tax. It's so hard for people to get ahead.
They're taxing the air. They're taxing everything, of course, And so that's why I'm shocked that people are still chill so far. But again, so only time will tell. It's crazy, man. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by the least if, like, shit goes down this summer or whatever. But people have been talking about that for a long time. People 10 years ago plus, people have been talking about things like that. And still, nothing really happens. So people.
There's a lot of apathy. Like you say, if people are comfortable, if they can go to the store, they can get food, they can get beer, they can watch their TV. They're not going to take action, right?
Exactly. That's right, man. It's like when no one's going to do anything, and you're absolutely right about the boiling frog technique, and I think that's what they're doing. Because if you boil the frog, it'll instantly know. But if you do the slow, gradual burn, then the frog doesn't notice, and that's exactly what they're doing to the American people and the planet, whatever you want to say. I care about America. I don't have time to care about the rest of the world because you got to take care of your own backyard first before you take care of others. And so when I see homeless people, I walk outside and I see homeless people outside. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Where are all these people? There's just so many things to it. The top 1% or whatever you want. There's trillions of dollars. The Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Bezos, all these smartasses who are allegedly so rich and so smart. I think it's all a facade. If they were so rich and so smart, how come there's not a Bezos or a Musk or anything, whatever you want to rock? And then the real people are the Rothschild Rockefellers. They don't show up on the top 10 rich list or whatever. But where are the aquaponic factories? How come there's not a warehouse of aquaponics here or there or whatever? It's like they always want to take care of people. Why is Bill Gates buying all this land and not growing food? All these people always act like they're taking care of people, but what the hell are they doing? If I was a billionaire, one of the first things I would do is open up an aquaponics factory. How come I don't hear? I've never even heard of that. How come it doesn't exist? How come it's not there? It doesn't make any sense. So it's very infuriating. It's a lot of things, and I'm not a scientist. I'm not a genius. I'm not a woman biologist like the Supreme Court justice. Don't even get me started on that. There's so many funny things going on, and all we can do is be the best. Like all we can do is be the best that we can, and just stay vigilant. And I'm so happy that there's other people like you. There's great people out there. We're all figuring it out. We're trying to figure it out here. So
Well, you mentioned the Rothschilds, and I read this great book. It was called Wall Street, Banks, and American Foreign Policy. And basically it chronicled how the various, ultra wealthy banking families would actually control American foreign policy by putting their man in to advise the president and guide, you know, where they go to war specifically for the interests of the banking family. And it's amazing the amount of control and power and influence that a few ultra wealthy elites can have over an entire nation of 300 million people. You've got one or two people in the background pulling the strings, and then the whole democratic government. It's just a farce. It's an elaborate uh, puppet show to distract you from the reality of what's really going on.
definitely, and it's a small world. It's very hard to believe that they're all doing that, but at the same time, it's a small world, and so they do what they do, and it's crazy, man. It's very interesting. Listen, the things that they're doing, it's like you and I can't even fathom what some of the stuff that some of these people are doing, and it would be nice to it'd be nice if things just ran the way that they're supposed to be. but there's all these ulterior motives and this and that, and we're just beating the bush here. And what can we do? Anybody who's wondering what should I do? I'm a small person and this and that. Do the best you can. That's it. That's all we're doing. We're doing the best we can. If you're a rich guy, open up an aquaponics warehouse or whatever. You see people, starving on the street or whatever. Who knows? Like, do the best you can. If you have the resources that you're able to do it, then do it. If you have the time to go do what you can, do it. I do the best I can by doing the show, by expressing, by sharing, just sharing the knowledge and just sharing what's going on. Look what's happening over here. It's crazy. It shouldn't be like this. I can tell you that much. It shouldn't be like this. Look at the purchasing power of the dollar. Ever since the now that's an inverse graph. Back hundreds of years ago, the dollar, the purchasing power was very strong. Now you look at the graph. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's worth nothing. What are you going to do? 10, 20 years ago, $20. What could that get you? Probably half a shopping cart, if not more. Now $20 is gonna get you like a gallon of milk of bread, like and some cheese if you're lucky. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous, and the prices and the wages stay the same. That is the biggest thing. If you want to pay $100 an hour, fine, and then you'll have to give if you want to play this inflation game, you want to play the print money game, then okay, fine. Let the wages increase with the inflation. But they don't want to play that game. They want to stay. The wages have been staying the same for over 40 years. So you're making the federal minimum wage is $7 an hour. What the hell are you going to get at $7? You can't even get a gallon of milk for $7 right now. Can't even get a gallon of gas at some places for that. So it's despicable. It's disgusting. And I'm wondering where the Boston Tea Party is now.
Yeah, it's tough, and even when you're applying for a job, it's an entry level position. They want 4 or 5 years of experience, and there's hundreds of people applying for the same job. It's very difficult for workers. Like you say, real wages have been stagnant or declining even, and it used to be that a single household income, you could have a house, a car, pay for the kids' college tuition off just one person working. That's not the case anymore. Certainly not at like a normal job, a non-professional job. Sure, there's some people, surgeons or whatever, that are making 200 grand a year and they're doing okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. They obviously went to university for a number of years, and they're providing a valuable skill. But for the average worker, to get by on a salary of 7, 10, even $15 an hour, when you factor all the expenses, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, and so they're just gonna have to, play. They're just gonna have to burn the money or something. Who knows what's gonna happen? We know what's gonna happen. The way that the future is showing, they're just gonna keep printing money. Every I've noticed a pattern of every president printing more money before the last. Obama printed like $8 trillion, and then after that, Trump printed 16 trillion, and now Biden is probably going to print another 25 trillion or something like that. Who knows if he's going to be, because you just look at the graphs, you just look at this, all the. That's all you got to do is look at the graphs, and then you could answer all your questions. And
And the way
so,
that they spend money is crazy. They spent how many trillion in the war in Iraq, and that's not doing anybody any good. You're just killing people over there. I mean, I don't think much has changed from when they went in to today. Same with Afghanistan. The Taliban's still in power. They left behind all this military equipment. I mean, I think it was probably right for them to withdraw. They maybe could have done it in a smarter fashion. But the U.S. has military bases all around the world, and they're sending all this money to Ukraine to fight Russia. They're sending what 80 billion or whatever it is, and who's going to pay for all that? Certainly the rich, the elite. They're not the ones that are going to be stuck with the bill. It'll be ordinary working class Americans, the middle
It always
class,
is.
they're the ones that have to pick up the tab.
Always. It's always the taxpayer, the American taxpayer is always footed the bill, and that's the whole thing. And everything is a facade. I like to say everything is a Ponzi scheme, and that's exactly what's been going on for years and years and years. And exactly like you said, it's all a joke. The Afghanistan, I mean, we just left 80 billion. If they cared so much, it's funny, they ask for us for money. They're asking us for our taxes. You want the taxes? Go get the fucking $80 billion that you left in Afghanistan. Go get the stuff. You want more money? Go ask for the Federal Reserve. Don't be asking us for money because they got a wrong thing coming. Because it's not good. It's not good. And there's going to be people that are going to wake up and smell the, whether it's these people or those people or the taxpayers. Someone's got to figure something out. And there's going to be a crux. There's going to be a awakening call. But for now, people are straggling by. But we'll see how long it lasts. I can't imagine it lasting for any too much longer. But people have been saying that for years. I got into the truth movement over 12 years ago, and they were talking about that then. It was like, 2012, if not earlier. And now it's 2022, and it's more the same. It's like people complaining, oh my goodness, food, gas, how could I afford it? Well, I guess how are you going to afford it? Figure it out. There's going to have to be. It's going to be a scale. It's going to be It's right now. Most people are able to barely scrape by. The scale's going to tip, and there's going to be so many homeless people. There's going to be so many people that are pissed off that what happened, that they lost their job, this and that. And again, I hate to talk about all this negativity and stuff because you got to be talking positive. You got to be optimistic. You got to be smart. You got to be doing stuff. Yeah, growing food, being like I was saying earlier, it's like to be all these people who are answering questions, who want to be, what should I do, this and that. You got to be the best you can. Go join a farm. Go do community. There's programs out there. There's this and that. There's all kinds of stuff. There's the IC community, IC.org, if anybody's ever heard of that. There's the Wolf program. There's all kinds of stuff. You want to work for a farm? You want to think local? You want to talk business? Go do what you need to do. Or if you're smart enough to be in the financial and the computer services, whatever. I mean, everybody's got their role to play. But one thing's for sure, that the American government has gone way out of hand, and everything has just been lie after lie. It's been unconstitutional. It's been, I just don't have the words to describe how pathetic and embarrassing and disgraceful how everything has been. It's like people really need to wake up and, forget the government. At this point, it's like I almost feel like it's like this has all been destroyed a long time ago. There's something really funky, really weird going on, and it seems like they're trying to kill all of us. That's what it seems like. So they've been lying over and over again. They've been caught lie after lie. The media, the government, the this, the that, the corporations, everything. You can't trust any of these people, any of these idiots. You go on the corporation, you go on the advertisements. Who knows what it's like? What are they preaching? They're preaching bullshit, and they're saying, "Oh, give us money and diversity, and we got to think about bullshit." Where you have to be thinking about where is all the money gone? It's the founding. Just remember, it's all circles back to the beginning. The founding fathers said. Franklin, many of them, all the founding fathers, like, you will wake up. They threatened. They said banks and corporations are stronger and more scary than standing armies. And your children's children will wake up homeless on the land that their forefathers conquered. I mean, it's hilarious. It's all right then and there. It says right there in their quotes in the founding fathers. They're saying all this shit, and look what's happening. It's so hilarious. It's a freak show. It's a lot of crazy stuff, man. And so people just got to be smart. People need to be educated. That's the whole thing. And people need to wake up. And, there's going to be a critical mass. It's like a 100th monkey thing. People eventually will wake up eventually. But, Until then, you just got to be grateful and humble and just do what you can, do the best that you can. You know,
Well, I want
if
to
you give
thank
a,
you for this discussion. It's been very illuminating. Uh, I really appreciate you taking the time, and definitely a lot to think about. I definitely agree with so much of what you're saying, and it's very important to have this discussion.
definitely, likewise. Thank you very much, Zach. God bless, and thank you very much.
Hey,
Let's all keep in touch and let's do this more often.
absolutely. Take care.